The cultural landscape of gender and sexual identities has undergone a profound shift in recent years, bringing a once marginalized subject to the forefront of social discourse. Integral to this discourse is the concept of transvestism, individuals donning clothing traditionally associated with a gender opposite to the one assigned to them at birth. This phenomenon is not as contemporary as it may appear. In fact, the history of transvestism extends far back into the annals of time, intertwined with the evolution of human civilization. The conceptualization of gender and its associated norms in the past was far less rigid than it is in many societies today. Diverse forms of gender expression found their place in the social fabric, with numerous cultures providing spaces for individuals who did not adhere to binary gender roles. This acceptance materialized in several ways, one of which was the practice of cross-dressing. The regalia of power, Pharaoh, Hatshepsut of ancient Egypt. Our exploration begins on the sands of ancient Egypt with a narrative centered around Pharaoh Hatshepsut, who ruled around 1478 to 1458 BC. Notably one of the few female pharaohs, Hatshepsut is regularly depicted in traditional male regalia, complete with the false beard that was emblematic of pharaonic authority. This deliberate shift towards male attire wasn't merely symbolic of power. It was also a direct challenge to the gender norms of the time, showcasing Hatshepsut's determination to be recognized as an equal among her contemporaries. This remarkable display of transvestism illuminated her resilience in a predominantly male-dominated society and set a precedent for subsequent rulers. Grecian and Roman transvestism, an art of necessity and rebellion. As we traverse westward to Greece and Rome, we witness a variant of transvestism rooted in theatricality. Women were frequently prohibited from performing in public, leading to the rise of male actors adorning female masks and costumes to portray female characters. This practice was a staple in both Greek and Roman theater, highlighting transvestism as an essential element of ancient performance art. Moreover, the Roman festival of Saturnalia, celebrated between December 17th, 25, was characterized by a temporary suspension of social order. During this festival, men were known to cross-dress, subverting the established norms in line with the lawless spirit of the event. This shift, albeit brief, offered a glimpse into the fluidity of gender expression and the potential for its broader social acceptance. Two-spirit individuals in Native American cultures. Crossing the Atlantic into the realms of pre-colonial Americas, the indigenous two-spirit concept among numerous Native American cultures offers another example of historical transvestism. This term encompasses individuals embodying both masculine and feminine spirits, often expressed through the adoption of clothing and roles from both genders. Two-spirit individuals were not merely tolerated but respected within their communities. Their unique gender expression was viewed as a gift, with many being revered for their perceived spiritual prowess. Such societal acceptance underscores the role of culture in shaping attitudes towards transvestism and other forms of gender nonconformity. Hydras and the epic tales of transvestism in the Indian subcontinent. Venturing to the east, the Indian subcontinent houses one of the oldest recorded third-gender communities, the Hydras. Comprising transgender and intersex individuals, the Hydras have a history that dates back thousands of years. Transvestism plays a significant role in their identity, contributing to their distinct societal position. Their presence is not limited to historical accounts, but also pervades the region's epic literature. The Hindu text, the Mahabharata, introduces the character of Shikhandi, who was born female but identified and lived as a male. This ancient text's portrayal of a gender-fluid character further attests to the long-standing existence of transvestism. Ancient Japan, the Onagata tradition. Our historical tour now takes us to ancient Japan, where male actors, known as Onagata, would perform female roles in kabuki theater. Kabuki was initially performed by all-female troops. However, by the late 1600s, the Tokugawa shogunate had banned women from the stage to prevent a perceived moral decline, leaving male actors to fill their roles. Onagata dedicated themselves to mastering feminine movements and speech, providing yet another historical example of cross-dressing for performance and art. Sacred transvestism in ancient Polynesia. In the Pacific islands of Polynesia, A unique societal role called fa'afafine has existed for centuries in Samoa. The fa'afafine, biological males expressing both male and female gender traits, are an accepted and valued part of Samoan culture. They often dress in female clothing and perform traditional women's tasks. This practice offers another example of societal acceptance of gender fluidity and cross-dressing. The galley priests of ancient Rome. Returning to Rome but delving into its religious history, we encounter the galley, priests of the goddess Cybele, who often wore female attire and hairstyles as part of their religious identity. The galley willingly castrated themselves in devotion to the goddess, lived as women, and were recognized as a separate third gender by Roman society. Conclusion. Thus, transvestism is far from a modern-day phenomenon. It's a practice deeply rooted in our collective history, reminding us of a time when gender fluidity was recognized and respected. As society continues to evolve, understanding these historic examples can help us foster a broader acceptance of all forms of gender expression. To paint the entire picture, it is also important to acknowledge that not all ancient societies were open to these expressions of gender diversity. The topic of transvestism, like all aspects of gender and sexuality, is complex and varied across cultures and times. However, the above examples demonstrate that individuals who lived outside traditional gender norms have always been a part of our shared human experience. Their resilience and ability to express themselves despite societal pressures continue to inspire modern discussions around gender and identity.